One on the border, and I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries, and I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
Guys, y'all ain't going to believe this freaking crap. Me and my husband just left the grocery store, walked out there with not even 4 bags, and paid over almost $300 and something. Everything has just went up double. Like, what the heck, man? This is getting crazy. We can't even afford groceries anymore.
It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word?
$700. $700.05. That is what I just spent at Walmart to buy groceries for my home, to buy our essentials. Like, I didn't buy anything wild and crazy and extra. The only thing that I would say that I bought that was extra was I bought a couple of those cheap t-shirts that are like the $5 t-shirts in the kids section because my daughter loves them. Or two of my daughters love them. And then I bought a pair of $7 black shorts for my daughter because she needed some. So that wasn't even extra because she needed some. And I bought me a pair of shorts. $700. I can't afford this. Like, I'm a teacher, and my husband also works for my school district. And the cost of living has gone up so freaking much, but we're not raising teacher salaries.
Imagine being a teacher or a principal in a school in a red state, which depends on funding, federal funding from the Department of Education, and still voting for Donald Trump. What am I talking about? Watch.
CNN analysis found the 15 states that most rely on federal funding for its public schools in 2022 all voted for Trump.
And I voted for President Trump.
I mean, you're an educator. You
Yes.
didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No, I did not vote for that. I voted for President Trump to make America first again. If we have
You fell for a
federal
slogan.
cuts, then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating.
I don't think that anyone in our county wants to cut our school funding. I don't think that anyone voted for that.
Do you mind if I ask who you voted for in the election?
I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump.
I just spent $72 on stuff to make chili, and that's going to feed my family maybe 2 nights. $72. Y'all going to have to figure something out up there in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, folks, America is in the ER, on life support. Forget the American dream. Right now, most Americans are just trying to keep their heads above water while the economy throws bricks at us. And honestly, a big chunk of why we're here can be traced right back to what you just watched. Those MAGA Trump supporters. The folks who treat political decisions like they're picking a meme to repost on Facebook. I mean, we've got people who elected a man to run the most powerful country on earth and can't list one single thing he actually accomplished in his first term. Not one. Meanwhile, unemployment is creeping up, groceries cost an arm, a leg, and maybe your kidney. And gas prices are making folks reconsider that spontaneous road trip to Target. And the guy in charge? I'm not even convinced he understands what grocery store means. It's wild. MAGA quite literally voted us into a recession. And now the same people are out here crying about no jobs, expensive gas, and not being able to afford ground beef. Like, congratulations, you played yourself. So in this video, we're breaking it all down, FAFO style. One clip, one receipt at a time. Because if things keep going the way they're going, the Red Hats might have just speed ran the destruction of America's future.
So we're diving into the recession madness that's plaguing America. And yes, some are actually saying it's going to be a depression. But just before we do that, here are some clips from MAGA showing you how they think, or don't think for that matter. Grab your stress ball and your strong drink. It's ugly, cringe, and you may get secondhand embarrassment. Let's roll the clips.
What got you excited to come to the Trump rally today?
He's a good man. I love him. We need him. Save the country.
You love him?
Yeah, I think he's a good man. What do you think?
Why? When did you decide he was such a good man?
2016. I liked his words, and I like he did everything he said he was going to do, and he did it.
What are some of those things that he said and then he did? Maybe just one thing. One thing he said and then he did.
He caught me off guard there. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
The current so-called president of the United States called Trump supporters garbage. showed up as garbage.
We're going to wear that proudly because we are Trump supporters.
And so, can you tell me how wearing the garbage bags proves that you're not garbage?
Oh.
Just as the back says.
Right. But
Biden can call us garbage. Trump calls us Americans.
Right, but you're dressed as Biden defined you, not as Trump defined you.
I love the poorly educated.
Well,
well, I think more of we're taking it as a joke at this point.
Well, like it would make sense if you were wearing an American flag and you said Biden calls us garbage and Trump calls us Americans. You're wearing an American flag.
I'm confused.
Donald Trump just said we're making so much money that he's thinking about giving us a rebate.
I love the poorly educated.
In fact, 3 days ago, Josh Hawley introduced the tariff rebate bill. And basically, it looks like we might be getting some money. I think every single liberal is about ready to fall in love with Donald Trump. I hope you didn't think I forgot about you.
Would you like to see Trump get rid of DEI in colleges?
Yes.
Would you like to see Trump have more pro-Trump professors in college?
Yeah, possible. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
Even playing field.
Yeah. Make it a little more diverse.
Yes.
Yeah. And include more of the Trump professors there.
Well, yeah, why not? Because that's so overrun with all the others, so very progressive.
Would that be more equitable?
Well, we don't want to go on this whole DEI thing.
Can you tell me what it says there?
Life's a bitch. Don't vote for one.
All right. And so that's got a picture of Hillary Clinton on it. You got Hillary for president 2016. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Democrats in this country need to tone down the rhetoric?
100% yes.
They're saying things that are too rude and disrespectful and are
Inflammatory.
too inflammatory.
Yep.
All right. So what does that shirt say again?
It says life's a bitch. Don't vote for one.
Yes, guys, that's what we're working with. And honestly, I don't think my brain has fully recovered since I started making this kind of content. Listening to some of these folks talk feels like slowly losing brain cells in 4K. At this point, I'm genuinely questioning some of my life choices. But hey, if it helps get the word out and wake a few people up, I guess that counts for something, right? All right, let's get into the real meat of this video. We're kicking things off with what's happening right now in terms of the recession and the creeping depression that's hitting everyday Americans. Watch the next few clips carefully, and then we'll be back to break it all down piece by piece.
All right, what this MAGA account posted with full confidence really shows that Trump loves the uneducated. Please check this out, because if I just told you what they said, you really wouldn't believe it. This is a real tweet by young conservatives saying, "Party like it's 1928. Republicans control Senate, House, majority of governors, Supreme Court pick, and the presidency. This hasn't happened since 1928. But I could have swore something happened the next year that we would remember in the United States for all of history. Oh, that's right. 1929 was the start of the Great Depression, of course. The year before the Great Depression, when Republicans had control, as that guy mentioned, they pushed corporate greed, deregulation, and short-term profits. And the result of their policies was the worst economic collapse the United States has ever seen. Banks failed, the stock market crashed, unemployment hit 25%. People lost their farms, their homes, and their savings. Does this sound familiar? And now in 2025, Republicans have full control, and we're seeing these same warning signs. Trump's tariffs are driving up the cost of goods across all sectors, inflation is destroying families, and unemployment is rising. And all of these corporate loopholes and tax cuts are allowing corporations to get richer while the rest of us continue to struggle. They're cutting social safety nets, our retirement, and our healthcare to give corporations massive tax cuts. All of these policies, of course, benefit the top 1% while hurting the rest of us. So yeah, you guys want to celebrate like it's 1928, go ahead and do that while you can, because history shows us exactly how this ends.
A Trump supporter told me they were struggling to buy groceries and that they were getting laid off of work because of Trump's tariffs, and I started busting out laughing real hard, stomach hurting. And then he said, "Oh, it's funny that I'm struggling," and I said, "Well, yes. God forbid a man is ecstatic you're getting what you voted for." And then he started squinting his eyes like this, and I was like, "What are you looking for? Your job? Because it's gone." And then I started laughing again, and he got real mad, and he walked away. And then I said, "Were you walking to the food pantry because you can't afford grocery prices?" I went to the floor laughing. I was banging on the floor laughing real hard. Then everyone around me was like, "You ate that shit up. You ate that shit up." And then I woke up. But moral of the story, don't tell me you're struggling if you're a Trump supporter.
They want your kids poor and uneducated so that they'll join the military. The greatest recruitment tool the U.S. military has is poverty. That's just 100% true. They go into poor neighborhoods and offer these kids things that these kids will not have the opportunity to get in their neighborhood. Health insurance, for one. They're offered health care. They're offered housing. They're offered a stable paycheck. All things that are very hard to do when poverty is extremely high. They offer the kids socialism so that they can send them abroad to defend capitalism. I don't remember who said that, but it is such a true point. The military is probably the most socialist entity in the United States. Everybody who's in the military gets paid the same for their rank. Like if you're a sergeant in one place and you could be the greatest sergeant ever, you're still getting paid the same as the sergeant in another place, unless your housing is more expensive because they give to those in need more. So if you live in New York, when you're stationed there, they give you more than if you lived in rural Montana. But it's all a top-down economy. The military is the most socialist entity probably in the United States' history. And yet they give American citizens socialism through the military so that they'll go destroy socialism in other countries.
Grocery prices coming down anytime soon? Not according to Trump. Yep, you heard that right. The Tangerine Menace admitted in an interview that it's unlikely, or he doesn't really know, that grocery prices are going to come down. After repeatedly saying that while on the campaign trail.
I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries, and I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
That as soon as he took office, grocery prices would go way down. He would be able to control all of that. Shockingly, he's now admitting it's really difficult for the prices of things to come down once they go up. Oh my God, I am so surprised.
This is how it went.
Why are you voting for Trump for? Because I'm fucking tired of being broke.
And this is how it's going.
I've been fucking pumped for this no tax on overtime. I've been fucking ecstatic, dude. I know America's been waiting on this shit. Everybody's been bragging. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna have so much extra money. It's gonna, bring in so much more money per month. Wrong, motherfuckers. Wrong. I did the fine print looking. It is not fucking gonna help us month to month. It's not gonna help you check none. They're still gonna tax the fuck out of your goddamn check.
My husband is doing other side jobs. Like, we can't afford this anymore. And I'm so tired of, it's not, like, I don't even know how to say it anymore because I'm tired of beating around the bush on, like, the politics about it. I don't care anymore about all this extra stuff. Like, I just want to be able to afford to feed my family. 2 years ago, this would have cost $350, and that still made me want to choke. $700.05 is how much I spent at Walmart today to try to feed my family.
I don't know if it's just me or what, but I was so excited for Trump to get back into office. For what? For what? I mean, prices are still bad. They're rising. Hell, everybody's struggling. I mean, wasn't you supposed to help us? Wasn't you supposed to? But he's not worried about us because, he's balling. He's rich. He ain't worried about it.
All right, let's talk about it because honestly, this right here is one of the biggest reasons why so many uneducated MAGA folks are out here effing around and finding out. And I don't even say uneducated as an insult. I mean it literally. These are people who don't read, don't research, don't look at historical patterns, and then act shocked when history repeats itself like it's a Netflix series with unlimited reruns. Every single time Republicans get their hands on the economy, they treat it like a kid who just found his dad's credit card. Swipe, swipe, crash. Let's pull out some receipts. We can start with George H.W. Bush Sr. The man inherited Reagan's economic policies, which were already setting the country up for a mess with trickle-down economics. Spoiler alert, trickle-down didn't trickle. Instead, we ended up with a recession in the early 90s. Unemployment rose, growth slowed, and regular Americans felt the squeeze. That's why Clinton came in after him promising change, and the economy actually improved. Then came George W. Bush. Now, this is where the effing around phase started to really take shape. Bush Jr. walked into office with a budget surplus. Yes, a surplus, thanks to Clinton's policies. And what did he do with it? Tax cuts for the wealthy, too expensive wars, and basically handing Wall Street a blank check. It was like giving a teenager the keys to a Ferrari with no brakes. By the time 2008 rolled around, the economy collapsed so hard it sent shockwaves around the globe. The housing market crashed, banks failed, millions of jobs disappeared overnight, and people lost their homes. And you know who came in to clean up that mess? Barack Hussein Obama. The man MAGA folks love to hate like it's their full-time job. They paint him as the devil incarnate, but let's stick to facts for a second. Under Obama, the economy was in critical condition. It took massive intervention, stimulus packages, auto industry bailouts, tighter banking regulations, and actual economic policy to slowly bring it back from the dead. By the time he left office, unemployment had dropped from 10% down to under 5%. The stock market had more than doubled, and economic growth had stabilized. You don't have to like him, but the receipts are there. Then comes 2016. Enter Donald J. Trump, self-proclaimed business genius, the man who bankrupted casinos, which, by the way, is like losing money in a rigged game you own. He inherited a strong, stable economy. All he had to do was not crash the car. And what did he do? He gave corporations massive tax cuts, ballooned the deficit, and deregulated industries like it was 2007 all over again. And then when the pandemic hit, instead of coordinated leadership, he gave us chaos. Yes, COVID was a global event, but the U.S. response was uniquely catastrophic. The economy tanked, unemployment spiked, and millions were left scrambling. And now, Trump is out here claiming he's going to fix what Biden broke. But let's not rewrite history. Biden didn't inherit some perfect economy. He walked into a smoldering wreck left behind by Trump's chaotic response to the pandemic. Businesses had shuttered. Unemployment was through the roof. Supply chains were in shambles, and confidence in government leadership was at rock bottom. Biden, whether you agree with all his policies or not, was basically picking up the shards of a broken glass house. He had to stabilize an economy that Trump crashed into a wall at full speed, and now the same guy who created the mess is standing outside with a tool belt saying, "Trust me, I can fix this." The audacity is unreal. Inflation is high, interest rates are squeezing families, layoffs are increasing, and farmers, the same MAGA farmers who cheered for tariffs without understanding basic economics, are watching their livelihoods collapse. It's like watching someone light their own house on fire and then complain about being homeless. This is what happens when people don't read, don't think critically, and rely on memes and Fox News for their political education. They keep voting for the same party that has repeatedly driven the country into recessions, and then they act shocked when they can't afford ground beef or gas anymore. Meanwhile, the folks they put in office are laughing all the way to the bank. Billionaires get their tax cuts, corporations offshore their jobs, and regular people get stuck holding the bag. MAGA loves to scream, "Make America great again." But historically, every time they're in charge, America ends up broke, jobless, or cleaning up another economic disaster.
Welcome to shit that just don't make sense spending money on. Walmart edition part 1. First thing up, these little ass cups of hamburger helper. Why would I pay you $2.24 when I can go to the back and get a box for $1.25? Make it make sense. Next up is your favorite Uncrustables. You get a 10-pack for $10.46. Now, why would I pay that when I can buy a loaf of bread, peanut butter, and jelly and get twice as much of a sandwich because you know that shit halfway gone? Nope, not gonna happen. Now, somebody please explain to me when bleach, great value bleach, went up to damn near $6. Like, what the fuck, man? Y'all playing. Now I can get the same thing for the same price with a smaller amount with the label. I cannot hesitate, so I gotta get the bleach, but we ain't gonna get the big one. We gonna get the reasonable one. Oh, and I gotta take a deep breath with this one because this really pisses me off. Since when did orange juice? And look at this little bitty. This ain't even a fucking gallon. $7.64. But if you want a name brand, clearly it's half the size. Bitch, I'm going to Produce and get me some oranges. I squeeze some shits myself. Okay, so clearly these are the biggest scam ever. Now, if you know me, back in the day, these used to be $1. Now you telling me I get half the price for $1, or half the can for $1.48? Make it make sense. Okay, so clearly somebody must have forgot to sign, because I know you are not telling me that this little bitty bag of chips is on rollback for $2.69. Regular price $4.92. Just because it tastes like some damn ramen noodles? See, Walmart gonna piss me off. And for the life of me, can somebody explain to me why this little bitty ass bottle is almost $8 for some damn fresh breath? I mean, goddamn now. Let me see, compare ingredient. Oh, same as therapy. Appreciate that. Let me get that great value. Let me get the hell out of here before I spend more money than I plan to.
In the event that you have the luxury of not being able to keep up with the state of the American economy, I apologize in advance, but I gotta be the one to put you on. If you want to remain ignorant, by all means scroll. But After this portion of the video, it's all facts, baby. All facts. All right, getting straight into it. We're going to be discussing the recession indicators as of August 2025. All right, and the information that I'm going to be giving to you is coming from the Washington Post. The name of the article is Long-Term Unemployment at Post-Pandemic High, Straining Workers and Economy. So I took a decent amount of notes from this article, so excuse me in advance, apologies in advance if I'm looking down a lot, but let's just get straight into it, right? So as of August 2025, 1 out of every 4 worker in the United States is unemployed and has been unemployed for at least half a year, right? This is a number that economists say is only seen during periods of economic turmoil. The first indication is employers have frozen hiring because of all of these tariffs that are being imposed by the Trump administration, as well as these policies that are crippling businesses, American businesses. They have frozen hiring. They're trying to wait everything out. They're trying to see the final effects of all of these tariffs and these policies. The second indication is layoffs are rising. Weekly claims for unemployment benefits or insurance has reached its highest level since October 2021. All right. The third indicator is 1.9 million Americans have been unemployed for at least 27 weeks, right? This is the first time in 4 years that there are more unemployed people in the United States than there are jobs. Now, this is the 5th recession indication. The unemployment rate has exceeded 25%. It is officially at 25.7%. Now, this has only happened 3 times since 1950, and it has always happened after a recession. After, not before. The first time that this happened was for 1 month, June 1983, after an inflation-fueled recession. The second time was for an 8-year stretch following the 2009 Great Recession. And the third time was for 1 year and a half after the COVID-19 pandemic. All right. And now we're facing that again. Just to make it very clear, those of you who voted for this man to be elected, for him to be in office, you voted for an administration that has not only been imposing policies that has been crippling American businesses, but tariffs that have been crippling the American economy, to the point where there has not only been massive layoffs, but these American companies that are either struggling to keep their doors open or are so money hungry that where they want to keep their pockets full have frozen hiring. Okay, they have frozen hiring. For there to be more unemployed people than there are jobs available in this country, that says a lot. That's absolutely alarming. But remember, y'all voted for this.
So we have an almost 25% unemployment rate. There are considerably less open jobs than there are people who need them. The cost of groceries and food all across the board is up about 20%. Americans have the most credit card debt and the most people defaulting on that debt ever in history. People can't afford their housing. They can't afford their car payments. And more importantly, there's virtually no way out of this situation. Unless some weird miracle happens, what is going to happen? We know for a fact that this is going to get worse because the Trump administration essentially attacked the farm community when they did what they're doing to immigrants in this country. There's crops just rotting in the fields. And those farmers, many of them are now just going out of business because they didn't make anything. They didn't make anything this year. They didn't have workers to help them harvest, and they just let it die. And I've heard, I'm not a farmer, I've heard that also makes the soil, it poisons the soil or something, so the soil is unusable. I want to say someone said it was for a decade. So we have an incoming food crisis. We already have ground beef. I think it's above $10 a pound or something. It's more than minimum wage in this country. And someone said, what did they do during the Great Depression? Sweetie, they ate tumbleweeds. And that's not an exaggeration. I'm actually reading a book about the Depression right now. I highly recommend it. It's called The Worst Hard Time. I think it's important for us to understand what people have lived through already. And some of what happened was 100% their fault, just for the record. If you read the book, you'll understand why. And there was no money. They were paying people in IOUs, especially in the South. They were paying their teachers in like promissory notes. And a lot of them never got paid anything. If there were soup kitchens available, people ate there, but sometimes there just weren't. People had to just leave anything that they did have and hop trains to other places, going anywhere to look for work. And I think if you did find work, you made like $4 a month. No, I'm not kidding. I mean, money was different then, right? But literally, I mean, people's kids, most of people's kids, like a lot of, like half their kids died. I mean, it was a horrifying time for 10 million reasons. And I'm sad that more people don't know about history and don't understand that we're breathing down the barrel of the same fucking gun.
That, my friends, is why education matters. Did you hear some of the things that happened during the Great Depression? I mean, really hear them? We're not just talking about people losing their jobs or skipping a few meals. We're talking about families lining up in bread lines for hours just to get a single piece of bread. We're talking about parents having to make impossible choices about which child eats that night. Children were pulled out of schools en masse because their families needed them to work in fields, mines, or factories, sometimes for pennies a day. People lost their life savings overnight because the banks collapsed and there were no safety nets. Imagine working your whole life, saving every dime you could, and then waking up one morning to find it all gone. Entire towns were abandoned because people couldn't afford to live there anymore. Suicide rates skyrocketed. Hospitals overflowed not because of a virus, but because despair broke people down. And here's something that often gets overlooked. People in rural areas were hit just as hard as those in cities. The Dust Bowl decimated farms across the Midwest, turning once fertile land into arid wastelands. Farmers packed up their lives into trucks and fled to other states, often only to find resentment and poverty waiting for them on the other side. It was a time when the concept of being American was tested to its core. And make no mistake, this wasn't some far-off dystopian novel. This happened here, in the United States, less than 100 years ago. The midterms are coming up, and this is why these conversations matter. If America made it through that era, we can make it now. I genuinely believe that. I have hope. But hope without action is just wishful thinking. This is why we do what we do on this channel. It's not just about laughing at MAGA's FAFO moments or indulging in schadenfreude when their policies backfire on them. Though, let's be honest, some of it is pretty wild to watch. No, it's bigger than that. It's about learning. It's about understanding the cycles we keep repeating as a nation. It's about making sure that history doesn't sneak up on us wearing a different outfit. Because here's the thing. Trump is already out here wrecking America's relationships with nations that could be key allies in a moment of crisis. He's picking fights with leaders who could be crucial in trade negotiations. He's playing a game of geopolitical Russian roulette with zero understanding of long-term consequences. And while he's out there doing his usual song and dance, other countries, yes, even third world countries, are making moves. Some of them have stronger infrastructure, more functional healthcare systems, and better social safety nets than we do right now. Countries we used to condescendingly call developing are now surpassing us in key areas that determine whether a nation thrives or collapses during economic storms. I'll catch you all in the next one. Remember, the future isn't something we wait for, it's something we build, one educated voter at a time.